Collaborative family law is a completely fresh way of looking at the way of sorting things out when, sadly, a marriage or another relationship has gone awry. It's totally different from litigation. In litigation and court proceedings, people are very much simply focused on their own interests rather than the interests of the whole family.
Collaborative family law is a process which is geared to a meetings-based situation where the clients and the lawyers at the very beginning reach an agreement that that team are not going to go to court.
Each party comes with their lawyer, so they have their legal advisor at their side. And what makes it different from a conventional process is that that legal advice is generally given within the room where the collaborative law meetings are taking place.
It's so different to the court, to the traditional approach, where you've got lawyers going out into the corridor discussing your finances and your children and reporting back to you. The clients are involved at every step of the process, and it's about the clients and what they want as opposed to about what a judge wants or a lawyer wants.
So it's open, it's transparent, it's all out on the table. There isn't room for secret discussions to go on behind the scenes, and that can be very appealing for people who, after all, are asking us to deal with what is maybe the most painful aspect of their lives.
The emphasis is not so much on the law itself, which is a given, and anybody consulting a solicitor can expect a solicitor to know the law. But what collaborative family law has required us to do is to look at a whole different skill set around skills involving mediation, around looking at options, around communication. And
so that could be bringing in a life coach to assist in getting used to change, dealing with the grief of the situation. It could be a financial advisor coming in and talking to the parties and explaining the finances.
If it's evident from the beginning, and it so often is, that there will need to be expertise, it's absolutely senseless to plough on without that expert being involved in the process.
If you're in a situation where one person knows the finances and the other one doesn't, which is not as unusual as you might think, you can bring in an independent financial advisor who can analyse a business's accounts, can bring together the financial perspective in a way that the other person can understand it without being patronised.
Because you're a financial neutral, you're not working for any one party. You're there to look at everything that's been accumulated during that marriage and help both parties go away with something that's right for them. Quite often you'll have a husband and wife situation if the husband's particularly been in business, he's been used to making these decisions, whereas the wife isn't, and she needs to be empowered to take control of her finances.
Sometimes you see a client and they're not in a good place, and they may have been left, there's great emotional issues, they're frightened for the future. So either into the four-way meeting we can bring a life coach, or we can refer them to a life coach so they can help them come to terms with the breakdown of the marriage.
Very often when they come to me, they're in victim mode. So-and-so's done this, so-and-so's gone off with them, and it's their fault, they had an affair. By the time we get to 3 months down the line, through the coaching, they've actually taken on board some of the responsibility for the end of the marriage, which actually eliminates the blame aspect of it. And instead of looking to the past, they're looking to the future.
The collaborative process is just one option that's available, and that the parties have to be suitable for it, and the circumstances have to be suitable for it. There are cases where it's not possible to have a collaborative case. There may be cases of extreme violence where one party dominates the other, and it's not possible, even with the assistance of life coaches or whoever, to bring them onto an even plateau in terms of discussions round a table.
Collaborative process is one option on the menu of choice, but for many, many couples, it represents good value for money and an informed and transparent dialogue about what is best for them upon separation or divorce, and critically, what is best for their children.
The whole purpose behind collaborative family law is to put the children of the family right at the heart of a decision-making process, so that although parents might have fallen out as between themselves, their emphasis continues to be what's best for their children and what's best for their family overall, rather than a what's in it for me attitude that culturally I think is fairly deeply ingrained in British society.
Ultimately, it isn't divorce that does the damage to children. It is conflict. Divorce is a major life transition for parents and for children alike. That should never be underestimated. But in fact, it's residual conflict that can prove deeply toxic and very damaging. Collaborative process, unlike the court process, allows support, dialogue, communication, and helps facilitate compromise.
And so, at the end of the process, when they look back, they will think, we did the best we could. And many couples have an ongoing relationship because of children. Many couples, in fact, going through the collaborative process, maintain a reasonable relationship after the divorce has ended, because they have not been subjected to the confrontational and polarizational effect of the normal process.
I think it's about finding a fair solution in often very sad cases, but so people can move forward and get on with their lives. I very much believe there is such a thing as a good divorce, and I think it's possible to achieve it in the collaborative process.
We are so keen to spread the word about collaborative family law. It isn't for everyone. It's not easy, and I wouldn't want to give that impression at all. It's very difficult, I imagine, to be in a room with someone to whom you've been married for a long time, or perhaps a short time, and to whom you no longer want to be married or won't be married. But there are so many benefits in the longer term. This is what clients tell us all the time. We're so keen that lawyers hear about it because we're so often the first point of contact for people who are going through a separation. And we're very keen that the public know about it so that they knock on the doors of lawyers and are asking them about it.